and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have a really amazing treat for you. We're going to be doing our make ahead Thanksgiving, and we're going to do some appetizers or hors d'oeuvres or whatever you call them. These are Parmesan Gougeres. That's just a fancy name for Parmesan cheese puff. These start with a choux paste, much like a cream puff shell, and you add some delicious Parmigiano Reggiano to it, and it's going to be amazing. These are going to be hard to stop eating, I promise you. Let's go see how these all come together. We have an amazing appetizer that we're going to share with you today. It's called Parmesan Gougeres. And for those of you who don't know what a gougere is, think about a cream puff shell, only savory. And it's going to be made with cheese. It's like a little French version of a cheese puff, and it's just really easy to eat and really delicious, and it's really easy to make. And because we're doing make ahead Thanksgiving, these are going to be easy to make in advance, freeze before baking, and then you can just pop them in the oven and bake them when you're ready. So this video is being done in conjunction with the people who make Parmigiano Reggiano. I was selected to share a recipe made with their cheese, and I'm going to give a little overview of Parmigiano Reggiano. If you're not familiar with that cheese, it's Parmesan cheese, but it's real, authentic Parmesan cheese that comes from Italy. And this is cheese that has been made the same way for over 900 years in the same place, and it is an artisanal cheese, and it is amazing, and I want to thank them for sending me this really generous amount of Parmigiano Reggiano, and it's fantastic. It's buttery, it's nutty, it's delicious, and you can use it in so many ways. I always have Parmigiano Reggiano in my refrigerator anyway. To be able to do this for you today and have them send me this was really quite an honor, I have to say. So what you have here are 3 very large pieces off of the wedge, and I went ahead and I kind of took some chunks off of one, and I shaved some with my vegetable peeler off of another. But you know, when you want to eat it, like, this is just delicious eaten out of hand, or you can drizzle this with a balsamic vinegar, and it is utterly amazing. It's great with a glass of wine or just by itself. And the way that the cheese is aged, it is very dry, and if you just put like the tip of your paring knife in there and then just give it a little bit of a twist, you know, cheesemakers have special tools for this. I have a paring knife, so we're just gonna go with that. But you can just do that. You can also grate this, you know, for the top of your pasta or whatever. You can take your vegetable peeler, and then you can just run it along the edge like that, and then you'll get these beautiful shards of Parmesan, which are wonderful. Also on pasta, but especially delicious in a salad. This really accentuates the flavors of whatever you're serving it with. It's just really delicious.
Where can they find some?
Well, I'm going to leave a link down below where you can learn more about Parmigiano Reggiano. You can usually find it in your better cheese stores, at your better grocery stores that have a cheese counter. And if you want to make sure that you're getting authentic Parmigiano Reggiano, but you'll want to make sure you see the rind is going to have Parmigiano Reggiano on the rind, just like that. You see that? It's literally stamped into the side of the cheese. Now, when you get down to the rind, don't you throw that away, honey. You just slice that right off. You enjoy your cheese, and then you put that rind in the freezer, and the next time you make up a big pot of your favorite Sunday gravy, aka spaghetti sauce, then you throw that Parmesan rind right on in there, and it's going to flavor your sauce like nobody's business. Oh, you can put it in soup, Italian wedding soup, vegetable soup, minestrone, whatever you've got. So I would like to thank the good folks at Parmigiano Reggiano for allowing me to share this with you today. This recipe we're making, again, Parmesan Gougeres, perfect appetizer for your Thanksgiving Day meal. And we're just gonna go ahead, we're gonna get started. What you're gonna need is a stick of butter, a cup of cold water, a cup of all-purpose flour, 4 eggs, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a cup and a half of Parmigiano Reggiano. And that is it. Super easy. And we're going to go ahead and clear. We'll be back and we'll get this thing started. Okay, I went ahead and I saved a little time bringing the butter and the water to a boil. Remember when we made choux paste, pet choux for cream puffs. That's the exact same thing we're doing here, only this time we're doing it savory and we're making it a cheese puff, and it's gonna be amazing. You've got your water and your butter simmering away. I put my salt in there. You can leave the salt out, but you know, a little bit of salt is always gonna heighten the flavor of whatever you're cooking. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop the flour on in there, and we're gonna give this a good stir, and we're gonna keep stirring until a paste forms. And I'm just gonna turn my pot here. And you're gonna wanna cook this. You see how it's a little bit, everything is coming together, right? And you wanna cook this so that this dough dries out a little bit. You don't want it to be too moist. When it starts to stick, if you can visibly see it, sometimes with these non-stick pans that you can't, but when it starts to stick a little bit to the bottom of the pan, you'll know that you've dried it out sufficiently that we can move on to the next step. It's wanting to stick a little bit, we're good to go. Okay, we're gonna turn off our burner and we're gonna move on to the next step. Okay, we've transferred our choux paste into a separate mixing bowl. I've just my big 8-cup measuring cup here. We're just gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of a whip just to kind of get some of that heat out of there. And then we're gonna go ahead and start adding our eggs one at a time. That's good. That's not gonna cook the eggs at this point. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add the eggs one at a time and beat them in one at a time, just like that. One more egg. You can see how thick it's already becoming.
Why one at a time?
You don't want to do them all at one time because it's harder for them to be incorporated. And this way you know that they're all incorporated. And our last egg goes in. See how easy this is? And it's going to be a super impressive appetizer. Perfect. Now you have a plain choux paste. At this point, you can move on and you can pop these on a baking sheet and you can make them for cream puffs, or you can do what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and add in our 1.5 cups of Parmesan, Parmigiano Reggiano that we grated, and then I took what the chunks that I took and the shavings, and I kind of just broke them up. Okay. Now we're ready to put this into a piping bag and make beautiful little cheese puffs that are gonna get, some are gonna get frozen, some are gonna get baked off because I wanna show you the finished product. But because we're doing Make Ahead Thanksgiving, I wanna show you how easy these are just to pipe on a baking sheet and freeze, and then you can have them ready for your entire holiday. All right, I'm just gone ahead and I've put the choux paste in a pastry bag, and I'm piping this on a baking sheet lined with parchment, and this is the one I'm going to put in the oven, and I probably could do another row here. I'm just going to go ahead and put some more in here, and what you want to do is you want to put your bag straight down, and you want to squeeze gently, and you want to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Easy. And these are going to puff up, but what you're going to have here is these little peaks, and you don't want those little peaks. So go ahead and wet your fingers and take the wet finger there and tap it down just like that, because those little peaks will burn and you don't want that. And remember, these are for an appetizer, so you don't want them to be enormous. At this point, if you want to make ahead and freeze, what you're going to want to do is just pop these in your freezer. I have piped out a pan that I'm going to put in my freezer. The most important tip I can give you is please dry fit your cookie sheet in your freezer before you start. Because this sheet I know will not fit in my freezer. This one I know will. So maybe you need to do a couple on a sheet this size in order to do all the dough. But I'm going to freeze these. And after they're frozen, after at least 6 hours, you're gonna just take them out, pop them in a Ziploc bag, go ahead and write on it what it is, and then you can refer to the recipe for how to bake these off. These are gonna go directly in the oven. I have my oven set at 375, and these are gonna cook for about 25 to 30 minutes until they're puffy, golden brown, and dried out. If you wanna cook them from frozen, you're gonna just pop these on a baking sheet, and you're gonna put them in the oven at 400 degrees, and you're gonna bake these for 25 to 30 minutes as well until they are golden brown, puffy, and dried out. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven, I'm gonna put these in the freezer, and we'll be back and I'll show you what these look like. Well, there you have it. These baked for 28 minutes. I removed them from the oven and let them cool for 5 minutes before removing them from the sheet, and I put them over here on our little display. And I'm gonna let Rick taste one because I cannot express to you how amazing it smells in my kitchen right now. It's really delicious. Go ahead and eat that. And I'm gonna pop one open just so you can see what it looks like on the inside. They're super light, and you can see airy and cheesy and crispy on the outside, and they're just super delicious. I wanted to share a couple more pieces of information from the Parmigiano Reggiano folks. Something interesting that you might not know, and I have said this before, Parmigiano Reggiano is lactose free. When they make cheese, the lactose is actually flushed away when they drain the whey away from the curd. So you can enjoy Parmigiano Reggiano if you are lactose intolerant, and it's really good for you because it is a great source of both protein and calcium. And also, I did want to stress that when you buy Parmesan cheese, please don't buy the pre-grated stuff because you're going to lose flavor, and a lot of times the pre-grated stuff has things added to it that you might not want to eat. When you buy it directly from the wheel, you know what you're getting. You can bring it home and you can do so many things with it. It's not even funny. The last thing I wanted to share with you is that Parmigiano Reggiano is currently holding a sweepstakes on their website, and that is a holiday sweepstakes wherein you can enter, and one person will win 5 large wedges of Parmesan cheese to share with their family and friends, to put on their cheese boards or to enjoy in holiday recipes. And I'll leave a link down below where you can go and enter, and I'm going to enter because I think it's super exciting, and who wouldn't want to win 5 big wedges of Parmigiano Reggiano? These Parmesan Gougeres are an excellent addition to your holiday meal for appetizers. They're great when you have them in the freezer. If you have drop-in company, you just throw them on a baking sheet, put them in the oven for 45 minutes, boom, done, enjoy. These can be served warm or at room temperature. I think they're better warm because you get a full-on intensified flavor from the cheese that has baked in there, and they're just going to be delicious.
You're going to love them.
You are going to love them. If Rick is telling you you're going to love them, you're going to love them. So I hope this gives you an idea for your appetizer for a make-ahead Thanksgiving. I hope you give it a try. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you're new to my kitchen, welcome. It's always a pleasure to just invite new people in all the time. I hope you enjoyed what you saw today, and I encourage you to hit the subscribe button. And if you're already a tried and true member of the Noreen's Kitchen family, please remember to hit the bell notification button because we don't want you to miss out on all the real food for real people, real easy recipes that we present all the time right here on our YouTube channel and straight from our kitchen. I want to thank you for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to have you here with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give these Parmesan Gougeres a try, and I hope you love them. And until next time, I'll see ya.